Hey gang, the world is burning. So let's talk about something frivolous to get our minds off of it. Welcome back to another edition of Toys I Did Not Own as a Kid. All right, today we are going to be talking about Gobot Crasher. And if you watch the Gobots, you know that this looks a little bit different than the Gobot Crasher that you're used to. You're probably more used to this Gobot Crasher right here. So we're going to talk about that right now. Let's get started. All right, so the Gobots is a toy line that was released in the United States by Tonka. This was done in 1984, but the year before, in 1983, they were actually released in Japan under the toy line name Machine Robo by a company called Bandai, by a company called Popey, which was a subsidiary of the company Bandai. Tonka got the rights because I believe, and many people believe, that they got word that Hasbro was about to come out with a toy line of transforming robots. And so in order to beat them to the punch, Tonka went ahead and got the rights for this line and got together with Hanna-Barbera to create a 30-minute commercial that we know as the Gobots. So just like the Transformers, what Tonka did is they went ahead and rebranded these guys as Gobots. Rumor has it that there was a meeting at the offices of Tonka where they were trying to decide what they were going to call these guys, and supposedly somebody said, "Why don't we call them Transformers since they transform into different from a robot to a vehicle?" And somebody said, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," and instead they called them Gobots. Rumor has it that sounds like something that has been added to the lore throughout these decades. Probably not, but who knows? Maybe that's true. Of course, the difference between Transformers and Gobots, other than the obvious size, is that in the storyline that they gave us here in the United States, the Transformers are living robots that have a mind of their own, and the Gobots are actually cyborgs. So inside here, somewhere inside here, is an actual living being, and they have their own lore that had to do with the fact that they were called Go beings in the original Gobotron. With Gobotron is the planet that they come from, and the original Gobots were something called Go beings that lived in Gobotron, and two factions separated. You had the Renegades and the Guardians, and the Renegades were the bad guys, of course, and the Guardians were the good guys. And when they were Go beings, during one of their battles, the Renegades actually ruined the planet. I forgot what it was. It was some kind of a material or something that ruined the planet, and so they weren't going to survive. And so they had a character called the Great Engineer that had already been working with cybernetics, and so he designed these bodies for them to actually live in so that they could survive the catastrophe. And that's why the Gobots look the way that they do. And of course, they never actually gave us an explanation as to why their vehicle forms, so many of them turned into Earth vehicles, even though they've never been to Earth. But in the very beginning, we come to find out that the Renegades actually already had to deal with some evil humans. Anyway, but let's talk about Crasher. Crasher, like I said, was part of the original line, and the reason why why this one looks white as opposed to the black one that we saw in the cartoon, is because this is the original release from 1983. The way that Crasher looked as MR20, which was Porsche Robo. So she transforms into a Porsche 956. So MR, of course, stands for Machine Robo, and this was number 20. So in Japan, they actually came in different colors. Period. Like these were just robots that turned into vehicles, and of course they gave them repaints all the time in order to keep selling them. Just like Hot Wheels will do a repaint, or will do many repaints of the same mold in order to keep selling them. So makes sense to me. But once you have them as characters, you kind of don't accept them that way, unless of course you have some kind of a new wave or whatever. But this was actually the original Crasher. This one came in 1983, and this one actually came out in 1985. Probably because for the cartoon, they decided to go with the black color, and so they had to release this color. But the original release was this guy right here. So got this one today at a toy convention, but we can see right here it says MR20 Bandai, and it says 1983 on it. There we go, MR20 Bandai. It's got the Japanese name that probably says Porsche Robo on it. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. And then it says 1983. And then this guy over here, or this gal over here, which is hard to read because it is in black, but it does say 1985. I wonder if I turn on a light that will actually show it. Let's see. Come on, come on. There it is. Bandai MR20 1985. So in Japan, this was actually the second release or a later release. What I like about the black version is that this right here, once you actually transform her, they didn't use the word transform in the series. I forgot what it was. Convert. They said convert. Once you actually convert her, because of the paint job, that looks like a skull right there. That looks pretty cool to me. Unfortunately, they didn't do the black with this one, which I think they should have, because that would have been really cool. To have another skull right there. So unfortunately, they didn't do that. So it would have been really, really cool. Something's up with this one where this foot doesn't go as far down as this one, but I don't want to force it. I don't want to break it. But there we go. Crasher in black and white, and Crasher in red and black. I do think that the red and black looks cooler. Let me turn off. There we go. I do think that the red and black looks cooler, but I mean, both versions are pretty cool to me. Anyway, so in the cartoon, Crasher is actually obsessed with speed, and that's why she and Turbo from the Guardians are always going up against each other. But because of the fact that they didn't come with any accessories like guns or anything like that, a lot of them didn't. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. Then in the cartoon, they would fire blasts from their hands. And Crasher had a special ability where she would stomp on the floor, and it would basically cause like a localized earthquake. And so here's Turbo. This is her main nemesis, and it was always because she wanted to be the fastest, and Turbo also wanted to be the fastest. So it was really cool. It was a really cool competition that they had going. And as watching it as a grown-up, it seems oddly like as if they almost as if they had a relationship back in the day, and now they're just bitter exes, always competing against each other. She is the number 2 for the Renegades, basically, and Turbo isn't necessarily the number 2, but I would put him more in the ranks of maybe like an Ironhide or something like that for the Transformers. But he was always the one that was itching to fight, and always would go in, head first into a fight without actually planning it out. So he would kind of cause a little bit of chaos because of that. Anyway, so the video is getting long. Like I've said many times before in my videos with GoBots, if you have a chance to watch the series, I definitely would watch it. We all had GoBots. A lot of people will comment that GoBots were something to be ashamed of. Not where I came from, my friends. We didn't have any money in the school that I went to, so we never made fun of anybody's toys. If you were lucky enough to have toys, we definitely weren't going to make fun of you for it. Our bullies were bullies for other other reasons. Toys were not one of them. So anyway, GoBots are lots of fun. Like I said, you put them next to a Hot Wheel, and you kind of can't tell them apart. So especially one like this that's based on an actual car, and they're very easy to transform, but they still have die cast. They have done once Hasbro bought out Tonka, because Tonka no longer exists, Hasbro actually bought them out. So once Hasbro bought out Tonka, of course they had the rights to the GoBots, and they did a few kind of re-releases of some Transformer molds and called them GoBots, and then they did some new GoBots, I believe, back in the early 2000s. But look at that, you put them next to some Hot Wheels, you can't tell them apart, and that's why I like GoBots. They were definitely cheap. It was something that you could get for anywhere between $2 to $4, and as their popularity waned, you could actually get them for under $2. Because nobody wanted them, because everybody wanted Transformers. The fact that they're not popular to this day actually makes them easy to collect, because you can still buy an original GoBot from 1983, as you see here. And you could buy them for under $20 sometimes. Most of the GoBots that I own cost me between $5 and $20. So anyway, I've reached the 11-minute mark. Getting long-winded, I apologize. Thanks for watching if you watched this far, and as usual, if you like the video, hit a like, and if you like the content, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, thanks a lot, guys.